Oh, hi there, I'm Colin Lamb. I hope you're doing well wherever it is that you may happen to be. I'm doing fine. I'm here in Adelaide on Hindley Street at my hotel, checked in here, and getting ready to go out to the show. But I'm fucking tired, man. I was working today in the rain, and I'm old, and I was out getting some food before the show. I walked by the venue at about 6:30, and there were already people lined up there. I think it's general admission. I'm not in a seated ticket, so I don't understand why anybody would line up. Anyways, I went and got a nice meal, and I'm too fucking old and too fucking bald. But that being said, as I was walking by that group of people, man, there were a lot of guys about my age with bald heads there. So there should be some familiar ground. I'm new to Australia, new to Adelaide area. I moved here from Canada, and I don't really know anybody. So maybe, just maybe, I will awkwardly try to meet somebody. I don't know. I only say awkwardly. I don't think I'm a particularly awkward guy, but once you get past a certain age, you're just another guy in the world. People look into your eyes and they don't see the possibilities anymore. They just see the ending, or they see something reflected back in these dark pupils that they don't want anything to do with. I don't know. Maybe I'm going in with a negative mindset, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Coheed and Cambria tonight, and I'm hoping that it's half as good as people say it is. That I'm excited. So I'm going to be getting into some lager after this complimentary box of fucking water here that I had to read through the hotel literature extensively to make sure it was not going to cost me $38 or some bullshit like that. But yeah, I'm going to drink some water and get my shit together and get the fuck out of here. All right, so I'm back home here. It's been about a week and a half since the show. My initial reaction to the show was that it was fucking fantastic. I enjoyed it. They played through that whole album and it was fucking pitch perfect. Now, just some information about the show itself. The venue, the Hindley or whatever it is. I keep pronouncing things wrong, but down here in Australia. But hey, I'm a foreigner. I get a bit of a pass. But the music hall was fantastic. I stayed at a hotel that was just on the opposite corner of the venue, so that worked out really well. There were guys lined up. I think I may have been talking about it in the hotel video, but there were guys lined up at like 6 o'clock to get into a general admission show that didn't start till like 8. I think the doors were at 7. I don't think maybe it started at 7. I don't know. But there was just a lineup, and I was just going off to get some dinner at a burger place down the way and get a couple of beers for the room after. But there were a lot of, I would say 30 to 50-year-old men in that lineup. That was the predominant age group there. There were a lot of other baldies there, a lot of heavy set baldies, a lot of metal guys there. It was a dude-centric show, and there was, of course, some gothy, emo-looking chicks peppered in throughout the crowd, and some older guys, too, which maybe at this stage I'm part of that group. Because let me tell you, I didn't make it to the very end of the show because my goddamn fucking hip was flaring up on me. But I did see them play the full album through, and I got to see my favorite fucking part of that show and one of my favorite live music experiences of all time, which we're going to get into in a bit. But as for the venue itself, very cool venue. It's a fucking rectangle in a building, as you can imagine. And stage is obviously here, but there's actually two. There's the floor level, which you could easily get up to. It wasn't so full of a show that you'd struggle to get in there and mix it up and get up to the front. And then you had bars kind of all around, which was awesome. I didn't have to wait more than 2 minutes to get a beer the whole fucking time. And beer was only $12, which an Australian dollar is roughly equivalent to a Canadian dollar. Maybe it's actually valued a little less than a Canadian dollar. So in terms of Canadian dollars, you'd be looking at probably $9.50, and US maybe $6 a beer. So that's not bad considering that I paid a lot more for a lot less. But that was pretty good. And the bar service, again, something that I've mentioned about the Queens of the Stone Age concert that I went to, the bar service just rolls through the whole fucking show. They don't shut it down. They don't cut anybody off. And I'm fucking, I'm on beer water, because I'm 40 years old and I had to get up and drive home the next day. And I just don't want to be hungover in my life anymore. If I could never be hungover again, it would be a day too fucking soon. I'm so glad that I've learned to control myself. When I had all the means, I have dozens of dollars at my disposal at any given time on this fucking dad budget. But the fact they don't shut the bar down, when I went up to the bar at one point, there was a really heavy metal dude, and I saw him going bam, bam, back to the bar, back to the bar, back to the bar, and he had a fucking highball in one hand and a beer in the other hand, and he was going back, and he was talking to the bartender, and I thought for sure they were cutting him off. But as I got closer, they were just having a conversation about music or something. It was just an animated conversation. He went back and forth again. I don't know how the guy was still fucking standing, because when he walked by me, he was this little guy. There's metal guys like this in everywhere. I've seen it on 2 continents now, in 3 countries. Guys about, yay high, about 5'8", heavy set guys wearing a kilt and a metal shirt with a big beard. Fucking love to see it. But very impressed with the venue. Really easy going. It was weird, I will say, not to see marijuana anywhere or smell marijuana at a rock show. Being from Vancouver, you can't get a fucking cappuccino without smelling weed walking down the road. But getting into the actual show itself, I'll be honest with you, I missed intervals because I went to the hotel. I was already feeling a little bit sore. I'm sore before I fucking go out. I only worked a half day, but I was sore, and I wanted to get up to the saltwater pool and get myself stretched out. Man, if you're sore, go for a swim. It's like a tonic from the gods, and I don't want to be another podcaster, or dare I say an unsuccessful internet podcaster going on about cold plunge or something like that. But maybe there's something to it. But for a cold swim will sort your body out, because I felt much better after that. Then I proceeded to stand for another 3 hours. But anyways, I did that, and then I did a meditation, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't been socializing a lot. I live out in a farm in South Australia, and it was kind of like a big occasion for me going to the city. I had a little bit of nervous energy, so I thought I'd do a little meditation before I went to the show, because I was looking forward to maybe meeting people, and I wanted to be in a good frame of mind. I did the meditation. I fell asleep for like probably 35 minutes, but I was fucking meditating, trying to find some degree of inner peace, and I just had a weird dream, which is none of your goddamn business. But anyways, I missed intervals, so I'm sad to say that. I did get to see Periphery play in full, and I have checked out some of their stuff. Farm dogs are going nuts here. I thought this was it. I thought this was the home invasion that I have been not preparing for. I have not been stockpiling weapons. I don't own a firearm, and I'm not equipped to defend myself with anything other than a short, highly aggressive burst of what's left of my energy as a 40-year-old man. Anyways, false alarm. But I did get to check out Periphery. So my thoughts on Periphery are 3-guitar band, as I found out from one of the songs that I listened to of theirs prior to going to the show. They started off a little soft. The energy was a little down. They had a pretty cool Vegemite banner behind them for their Aussie tour, which I'll probably show a picture of. The singer, once he warmed up, was fantastic. I do have to say, I'm not too sure if that band is really for me. I'm not going to say there wasn't dynamics, which is one thing I always worry about with sort of modern heavy / metal bands, is that it can be very rhythmic and melody kind of gets sacrificed. But this guy did do a really good job of singing, and I thought there were dynamics. But the band, I just don't think was for me. I understand they also had a guest drummer who was really going hard. I mean, in terms of being a guest drummer, this guy was fucking bringing it. So I don't know who he was or what band he plays in, but he was really happy to be there, and he was a fantastic drummer. Would I see that band again in Periphery? If I was going to see another band, pardon the awful pun, but yeah, I'd probably see them again if they were part of another show. I'd go and check it out. But yeah, I did enjoy it. In between the sets, I noticed that the security was giving water to the front of the crowd, which was pretty cool. And yeah, I did enjoy Periphery, but of course I was there to see the main act, which of course was Coheed and Cambria, and they were going to be performing one of their seminal albums in entirety, and that's what I came to see because I'd gotten recommendations of them from many of my close friends whose opinions I value and appreciate, and also some of you people who've commented on other tracks of Cohhed that I've reviewed on the channel. So I was fucking up for it, and they did not disappoint. One thing I will note is that they didn't talk between the songs or even talk when they came out. I think that's kind of a badass move. If you're a band that's just about your music, and about playing and being the best live band that you can be, there's not a lot of room for banter. Maybe they are more banterous in previous eras or other shows or other circumstances. I don't know, but they did that fucking album, and it was fucking perfection right from the get-go. Claudio came. Oh, I cannot pronounce that name. He came out and began on the acoustic guitar, and it gave me a little bit of chills. It reminded me why I was there, because the old hip was already starting to act up at this point. I'd been standing for over an hour. There were some chairs off to the side, but out of pride, I was trying not to sit down. I didn't want to be like the other, over the hill guys sitting there at the side of the show. But I definitely was that guy for a little while. And not knowing anybody, I don't know. So some comments about the actual performance. It sounded like it was note for note like the album. So really, in terms of it being a live show or a live performance of that album, I would say it was great on both accounts. The guitar work was spectacular. The two guitarists were trading off leads. The vocals were great. The background harmonies, I guess there aren't that many on the album, but they were the ones they did early on in some of the slower songs were really, really good and really impressive. I have to say, on the whole, I was very impressed with the band. One thing I did find, though, again, and maybe I can't say it would be the no weed thing, and there definitely wasn't a shortage of booze, but I thought that the crowd kind of didn't have the energy of the occasion. If that album means as much to the fans as I'm going to assume it does, it didn't seem to have a lot of juice in the crowd. And I don't know, maybe that's an Adelaide thing. Maybe people are a little more reserved down here. Some people do say, in terms of Australia, that it's the kind of most posh British kind of area of Australia. At least that's what I've kind of heard. And people are pretty mellow down here. But for a metal show, it was mellow rather. And like I say, I mean, if it's not the booze revving people up back home, or the lack of booze, maybe it's a lack of booze. You can't get a beer and you're fucking just pissed off because they cut you off and the beer's too expensive at the venue or whatever, because weed's not going to jack people up and make them crazy. But yeah, I thought the energy was a little low, and I don't know if the band kind of picked up on that. It didn't hurt their professionalism or their performance, but I would just have to say that it was a fantastic performance of that album. I wanted to get a t-shirt, but I did the same goddamn thing I do at almost every show. I see the shirt that I want, and I'm like, okay, I'll come back there and get it after I've had a beer and a little ways through the show, so I don't have to hang on to the damn thing the whole time. And I go back, and of course it's sold out, even though we know there's a box of them for the next fucking city somewhere. Can't you get me one of those? God damn it. Anyways, my personal highlight of the show would be the first 3 songs that they did off the album, and then the final cut, which, tell me that is not a beautiful homage to Pink Floyd. Tell me that. Tell me that that's not what that is. I'm pretty sure Pink Floyd have an album or a song called The Final Cut. I can't remember, but that is just Floyd all over. Just the way that the chord progressions are, the guitar tones, the guitar solos, everything. I don't know if they had the backing track because I was just listening to the guitars, but on the album there's some very Rick Wright sounding keys that accompany that. But man, that was actually, to be honest with you, that's what I was waiting for that show. That took me to that place that I wanted to go. When I hear somebody said that this is one of the best live bands, I want to hear something that tingles my fucking skeleton and gets me just a little whoop. And did that happen? Yes, it did. It was a problem. I had to cross my legs while standing. But it was very good. I enjoyed that show. I would go see them again. It'd be nice to go with friends. And here's where I want you to feel sorry for me. I'm out here in Australia living on a farm. I had nobody to go with. Maybe that would have enhanced the experience for me. It was odd. I've gone to a lot of shows by myself. I've traveled down through the States to see Fish and my favorite band, Ween, and several other bands. And going solo, if the energy's right, you can get amongst it and be there. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem to have the energy that I wanted. And certainly some of their live videos, it just seems like this crazy, throbbing, sweaty energy. And it wasn't that. It was more chilled. But again, I wasn't down on the floor because I didn't want to be down there. And maybe I'm that guy at the metal show with his hands in his pockets, just, it could be the best experience of my life, but you'd never know because something is chastising me. I just can't let go. But I don't think that's the case because I did enjoy it, and I was kind of I was kind of grooving, right? And maybe if my hip was a little better, I could have gotten down there on the floor. Maybe I should have. I don't know. Maybe I will the next time I got tickets to go see the Stone Temple Pilots of all bands there in March. And Billy Corgan was coming in December, but I couldn't justify going to see Billy there. Oh, you, yeah, yeah, couldn't do it. But anyways, that's pretty much my experience there. I thought it was great. If you haven't seen Coheed and Cambria, I think you should. I would go see them again, and I enjoyed myself. There you go. In terms of where that ranks on my all-time favorite concert experiences, well, I saw Radiohead on the In Rainbows tour. I saw only 5 songs of that because the girl I was with did a green out. She smoked weed and passed out and pissed herself. And I had to leave because I'm a loser. I didn't end up staying with her. It's a bit of a traumatic breakup. I should have fucking left her there in a puddle of her own urine and finished that concert because it was fucking ungodly in terms of a live band. I've seen my favorite band, Ween, play many times, and not quite on that level. But I'm going to say I saw John Fogerty play, and that I say is a baseline for any concert because that guy doesn't owe anything to anybody. He's been chewed up and spat out by the music industry, and he put on a fucking pro show. He has all the material, level of performance and stuff. I'm going to say that Coheed is right there, maybe just above that Coheed level in terms of the level of technical performance there, but maybe below some of the higher echelon performance stuff that I've seen. And some of it is going to be tempered by my taste for sure, but I think I have a pretty good baseline for concerts. I saw the Bare Naked Ladies play years ago. I am Canadian, but they're not one of my favorite bands, but I can freely say they were fantastic. I've also seen bands that I have no interest in ever seeing. I can say they're great. I've been to lots of small festivals. So I think I can say what a good performance and a bad performance is. And they were great. You know, they weren't otherworldly, but they were fucking great. And that's coming from a guy who doesn't have a lot invested in the topic. Anyways, that's my experience. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please feel free to like and subscribe. And stay tuned because you never know what I'll be doing on the channel next. Even in my advanced age, I had to put down the beer for this video, and now I'm drinking lightly flavored water. And you know, I don't wanna fucking get my hip going again there and fucking not. This is straight back to seeing hell.